This Optic Blast attack is a great example of how a simple effect can be so powerful and appealing. Any beginner in Blender can do it, and I'll show you in this video how I was able to achieve this effect. The skills you need to make this video are very simple. Basic modeling, basic knowledge of shading, and very basic knowledge of compositing just to create the bloom effect. To break down this effect, you have 3 layers: the actual beam itself, the energy burst, and the particles. And just before we move forward, make sure of the following. You're in the Eevee render engine, your color management view is set to standard instead of filmic for more vivid colors, and you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled so it's easier to work in the shader tab. Also, if you'd like to support my work, I am selling this Blender project file on Gumroad for $1. Please check it out if you're interested. Starting with the main beam, just add a plane to your scene and stretch it up into the shape of a beam. And that's it, you're done with modeling. Open up the shader editor on the side and begin by adding a gradient node and press Ctrl+T to add a texture coordinate and mapping nodes. If nothing appears, make sure you have your Node Wrangler add-on enabled like I mentioned before. Also, make sure your texture coordinate node is connected through the UV socket. Then add a color ramp node. Make sure to play with your mapping's location and rotation settings to center your linear gradient with the geometry. These are my final values. Then start adding in color stops. This is the final color palette I chose. I want white in the center that gradually goes to red and at the end finishes in black. When you're done, connect the color ramp to a mixed color node and then add a noise texture. Same as before, Ctrl+T for the texture coordinate and mapping nodes to appear. Make sure it's set to UV and connect the noise texture node to a color ramp node. The goal here is to stretch down and squish the noise as much as possible. The goal is to give texture to the gradient we just created a step earlier. So this is what you should be getting with your final noise node setup. Once you're done, connect the noises color ramp node into the B socket of the mixed color node and set it to color dodge. Immediately you can see that the gradient has a more interesting texture, and we can even animate it. Go back to your noise texture and set it to 4D instead of 3D, and the W factor slide will appear. Click it and type in #frame/12. You can put whatever value you want and now press play, and you should be getting animated noise along your beam's gradient. Now we want to push this layer a little more. I want white waves pulsating through, and to do that, we're going to create another node setup. So connect the mixed color node to another mixed color node, so now you'll have 2, and then add a wave texture node. Ctrl+T as always, and this time you can keep it connected through generated. Add in a color ramp node, and by playing with the sliders you can make the waves thicker or thinner. For stylization purposes, I chose the constant blend mode, but choose whatever fits your style more. If you animate the phase offset with #frame4/-1 like I did, it should animate the wave forward. Keep in mind that depending on your geometry, it might be #frame4/1 instead of -1, or it could be a larger value to adjust the speed. Always feel free to play with the settings that work best for your version of this effect. Same applies for the mapping node scale values. I lowered the values a little, but you might have a different effect. But what is important is to add a noise texture node, Ctrl+T and connect it to a color ramp, and have that color ramp node connected to the wave texture node scale. Take the black slider and make it a light gray. This allows us to distort the waves. It'll be weird if they're too straight for such a powerful attack. Again, play with the noises settings to get the look you want, and when you're done, connect the wave textures color ramp node to the B socket of the second mixed color node and set it to color dodge. You can even play with the factor slider if you want. When all is done, connect the mixed color node into an emission node and you should be done with your first layer. This is my final node setup. The second layer is a little simpler. It's the bursts of energy. Duplicate the beam object, move it up a bit, and make it a little larger. Also, make sure to duplicate its material in the shading tab by clicking here. Delete all of the group nodes except the gradient colors. Add in a mixed shader node alongside a transparent and emission node. Set them up as such. Before we move on, press N to open up the shading tab menus and change the blend type from dithered to blended to get rid of the noisy transparency. It's better to keep it smooth. Back in the shader editor, add a Veranoid texture node, press Ctrl+T and make sure the UV is connected, and then add in a color ramp node and set its blend type to constant. What we're trying to do here is to play with the color sliders and the mapping node scale values to create these squished down bursts of energy. This is my result, but again, go with what feels right for you. Once you reach your desired burst effect, animate the X location axis of the mapping node. I used #frame4/-12. Now the bursts of energy flows through the mesh. Now make sure to have the Veranoise color ramp node plugged into the factor socket of the mixed shader node. This way what is black will be transparent and what is white will be opaque. Then take the original colors and plug them into the emission node. And this is my final node setup. Last thing to do is the third layer, which represents the particles. Same as before, duplicate the energy burst mesh, move it up a bit and make it a bit larger. Duplicate the material in the shader tab and delete everything but the original colors. Before we move on to the shading, I want to show you how I set up the mesh for the particles layer. If you look at the other layers, there is no loop cut in the center, but there is one with the particles. The reason I added it is so I can control the speed of the particle flow over time. If I put the edge loops closer to each other, the animated particles will flow faster. If further apart, then slower. In order to do this, you need to make the UVs of the particle mesh square. Here's how to do it. In edit mode, select all of the perimeter edges and mark them as seams. Then select all of the mesh and unwrap it. In the UV editor, select any edge and align it horizontally. Then take the perpendicular ones and align them vertically as such. The goal is to create a perfect square. Then select the entire UV unwrap, select the perfect square as active, preferably in face mode. Right click and select follow active quads. Now every face will be a perfect square. That's why we choose UV for the texture coordinate nodes. By manipulating the UVs, we can manipulate the texture nodes flow, but we need it to be a perfect square to do it effectively. Stretch them into the UV square layout, and now you can play with the loop cut positions to affect the particle flow. So, by adding one loop cut and moving it close to the first edge, it'll create an effect where the particles will burst out fast and slow down over time. So once you add that loop cut and move it closer, go back to the shading tab, add a mixed shader node setup with a transparent and emission shaders, just like before. Then add a Veranoid texture node. Ctrl+T, connect it through UVs, and add a color ramp node set to constant. This time you want to invert the color ramp colors to create these circles. Play with the mapping node scale until you reach your desired particle scale, and play with the sliders to control the density of the particles. Then we'll animate the x-axis of the mapping scale node. I used #frame/-24. Make sure to connect the Veranoid's color ramp node into the factor socket of the mix shader and the colors to the emission shader, and voila! You should now have a fully realized Optic Blast in Blender. This is my final node setup. The final touch will be a bloom effect. Go into the Compositor tab, create a new node group, and add a glare node set to bloom, and put it between the render layer node and the viewer and group output nodes. To see the results, click here. Then under Compositor, select Always. Play with the settings to your liking, and I also suggest playing with the emission strength of each layer to control the bloom effect independently. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Again, if you'd like to support my work, I am selling this Blender project file for $1 on Gumroad. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll get to you as fast as possible. See you next time. Bye-bye.